All right, guys, we are live now.
Hello and welcome to another session of the CZITT AI Energy Hackathon preparation series. I am Donald Baldev Singh, the founder and chairman of CZITT, and I'm very happy to be here on this occasion and to welcome a very good friend of mine and of CZITT, Mr. Alan Phillips. Mr. Phillips is a chemical engineer with a bachelor's and master's degree in chemical engineering, and he has spent a great amount of time in industrial project development, primarily in bauxite to aluminum value chain. He's been in the Caribbean a lot, worked in Jamaica, and spent a lot of time in Trinidad and Tobago on different projects. He is part of the Southern Caribbean Cable Company team, which is a supporter of the CZITT AI Energy Hackathon. And today he will be talking to you about prompt engineering. Now, this is a critical part of the AI hackathon, so please give him your full attention. And for those of you who have questions, and we encourage you to ask them, put them as comments on the YouTube channel, and we will give you responses to them. Without much further ado, I welcome Mr. Alan Phillips.
Thank you very much, Donald, for this opportunity. My topic is actually on prompt engineering. And this is a fast-changing topic, as everybody knows. So getting into it as quickly as possible, I want to talk about setting 3 expectations for this conversation. You don't need to be an expert to be a good prompt engineer. You need to be curious. The second question is, there are no stupid questions, only questions you haven't asked. And the third one is, the goal isn't a perfect project. The goal is to learn something you didn't know yesterday in a fast-changing field. We'll talk about 3 things: ethical AI use, about prompting, please excuse me, and then response verification. In terms of ethical AI use, the best AI developers in the world follow these principles. And today, ladies and gentlemen, you are operating at that level. The first thing is what we do. We use AI as a collaborator and thinking partner. We always cite when AI helped generate output or code. We always question and verify AI outputs. We use AI to learn, brainstorm, and debug. We respect privacy. We don't put personal data about real people. And we work on building things that help people. What we don't do is copy and paste AI output and call it our work. We don't hide or deny AI involvement. We do not trust AI blindly without checking facts. And we don't use AI to bypass learning or understanding. We don't feed private, sensitive, or identifying info into AI tools. And we don't build things that deceive, harm, or demean. And I think it's important to place that up front, because that's the touchstone that guides our work. Okay, so let's now move on to the second piece of this, which is the prompt. Basically, a prompt is the instruction you give to an AI. It's like a recipe card. The more specific and clear the recipe, the better the dish. A vague prompt will give you vague results. A precise prompt can give you powerful results. As an example, if you're ordering food badly, you say, give me some food. If you're ordering it well, you say, I'd like a medium pizza with extra cheese, thin crust, cut into squares, and a side of sauce. Both are requests. Only one gets you what you actually want. So there are three basic learnable skills that will make AI more useful for you. You define the job, you add real context, and you test the output. So one of the suggestions that comes out of Harvard is that you define the job before you write a word of the prompt. The core idea is start with your outcome in mind. A precise task will beat the vague instructions. So don't start by wordsmithing. Start by deciding what a useful answer looks like, who it's for, how long it should be, what format you need, and what decisions it should support. When you define the job clearly, the model has less guessing to do, and your output then has less opportunity to create hallucinations, which is the AI filling in gaps where something is vague. So an example is a weak prompt is summarize this report. A stronger one would be summarize this report for the teacher in 90 seconds, give it 5 bullets, 3 risks, and 1 recommendation. Use plain English. Keep it under 200 words. That gives you a precise task. The second skill that's important, recommended by Harvard, is give the AI tool real context, not more words. The basic idea is give the AI all the details an expert will already have in their head. You tell the AI what it needs to know to do the job well, the audience, the goal, constraints, definitions, examples, and things to avoid. Without that, it fills the gaps with a probably right guess, which you end up with hallucinations. The practical rule is more words is not better context. A short prompt with a good example, a clear audience and constraint will often beat a long prompt full of vague directions. Two students, such as yourselves, using the same tool to write a message for their school. Write a post about staying productive is the first type. The second type is write a short announcement for a Trinidad and Tobago high school WhatsApp group. The goal is to get students to sign up for a Saturday beach cleanup. Keep it respectful and upbeat. Mention the meeting spot and time, what to bring, and end with a clear call to action to reply, I'm in by 6 p.m. today. The second person isn't more technical, they're better at briefing. So the idea is the brief, the skill, being clear about the audience, details, and tone. This works for anything from school announcements to hackathon pitches to anything. The third skill revolves around testing the output instead of trusting it. AI always sounds confident, and it can still be wrong. The winning teams treat the first answer as a draft. They test it on real examples, try a few tricky what-if cases, and tighten the prompt based on what failed. Prompting isn't about magical phrases, really. It's about a good briefing, clear job and context, and good judgment, testing and iterating. If you do those 3 skills, you'll outperform someone with a much longer prompt template. You don't actually need a new framework or a course. There are 5 questions before you really type, what exactly is the job? Not the task in general, the specific outcomes. What does done look like? What context does the model actually need? The facts, examples, audience, constraints, and things to avoid. What would a smart colleague need to know to do this well? What should the output look like? Length, format, structure, tone. Be specific here. And then how will you judge whether it worked? Accuracy, clarity, tone, completeness. Set a bar before you read the output. If it misses and you get a wrong answer or perhaps something that you misunderstand, what was the real reason? Was it context, format, vague goal? And that's your next prompt improvement as you cycle through this. This is a deliberate practice that you want to build rather than a one-time adjustment. For every complex request, define the job first, write it out before you write the prompt. Before sending any prompt, ask what context is still missing, add it, compare the output to what you'd normally get. After each AI output, ask, how would I test whether this is actually right? Try one tricky what-if case and check. 3 skills, and if you practice them, that makes the you harder to confuse and the AI less likely to hallucinate and cause troubles. Okay, so let's talk about now the prompting itself. Isn't just a productivity upgrade. It's how you stop being a passive user of the AI tool, which are now very powerful, and start being an active collaborator. That one is important. They are a collaborator. They help you. The models keep improving. Your thinking is yours and what you bring to the party. Productive struggle looks like trying different approaches, debating ideas within your teams, researching, rereading, or asking the AI for help, making small errors and catching them, feeling challenged but engaged. And that's important. Every strong prompt has 5 building blocks. You don't always need all 5, but the more you use, the better your output. And there's an acronym for that. It's called the CRISP framework. It's a 5-step framework. C is for context. What does the AI need to understand my situation? I'm a 10th grader, for example, working on a hackathon project about food waste. The role. What does the AI have to be to give the best answer? Act as a senior app developer, or you're a friendly science tutor. Then your intent. What exactly do I want the AI to produce or do? So here you must be specific. Generate 5 project name ideas. Explain this concept simply. And then S for specifics. What details, constraints, length, or rules should it follow? For example, you could say the length should be less than 150 words. The tone should be casual and funny. The level may be explained for a beginner. And what to avoid, no jargon, no lists over 5 items. And finally, the product. What format should the output look like? For example, format as a numbered list, or give me a table with 3 columns, or write it as a script for a 2-minute video. Give examples of what you want. And I think it's important also to tell the AI what not to do. And finally, iterate, refine. Always go around the cycle of improvement. Don't restart. Also, it's always a good idea to break all these big projects into simple tasks and 1 task per prompt. You get better results. It's focused. And finally, always verify facts, statistics, and code. Now, you can always do things like, challenge the AI, give me 3 alternative versions, or what's wrong with this? How can it be improved? And you get it to check itself. And you can even ask it to convert this into a new format, or make the tone more casual or more professional. So when you put it all together, you get something like this. You're a marine biologist. Explain how coral reefs are dying for a 10th grade biology presentation. Keep it under 200 words with no scientific jargon. Format it as a bulleted list with one sentence summary at the top. So there you go. It's a complete prompt. The next piece I want to touch on is working with prompts, is asking after every prompt. The core idea, don't just prompt, invite clarifying questions to turn guesswork into good work. So for example, you might say, write a blog post about procrastination, and the result will be generic. If you improve it, you write a blog post for college students about procrastination. Use a friendly tone, focus on why it happens, and give 3 practical tips to overcome it. Now you're getting advice. So the first prompt I spoke with is vague, but doesn't help. The second prompt gets to the core of the problem. Now there's a way of going after these clarifying questions, and that's another acronym, is the coach framework. By the way, I'm going to try and send all these to the CZITT team so that they can make them available to you. The coach network is your AI's personal trainer. So it helps the model stretch its reasoning muscles. So you would go through context, outcome, audience, who's reading this, constraints, what should it avoid, and handoff, what format do you want? So this is similar to the CRISP framework, but you use it to challenge your AI. So we talked about thinking before you write the prompt. The idea, we're starting with the outcome in mind and the precise task to beat vague instructions. So somebody might say, summarize this report. And then you get a result. The report is about sales trends. They went up. The end. Or you might say, summarize this report for the president of CZITT in 90 seconds. Use 5 bullets, 3 risks, and 1 recommendation. Keep it less than 200 words. So now there's an actionable, useful summary that Mr. Baldio Singh can use. Okay, so the key concept is task instructions and context. The AI's to-do list. Again, as we develop these prompts, we've talked about having different tasks. You can do context stacking, which is give the AI the details an expert already has in their head. You may say something like, help me fix this computer code. The result may be vague, check for syntax errors. But a better prompt would be, here's what's happening. My program crashes when I run it with a big list of data. Here's what I already tried. I fixed the typos and printed values and it still crashes. Here's the rule. I'm not allowed to change the input format. And it still needs to handle large data. And the goal is to find the bug and suggest a safer, faster way to handle the data. You'll be working with data, I believe, in this hackathon. So this is a good thing to keep in mind. The first prompt is like asking your friend, why isn't my car starting? And getting an answer that says, maybe it's the battery. And the second one was like handing them the car's repair history and then letting them fix it. So again, re-emphasizing the concept, use the situation, the constraints, and the goal, what you have in mind to produce. Okay, the fourth item that I want to mention is what people call creative unlock. Add creativity by using a form to specify the format, the lens, the perspective or voice, tension, opposing forces to resolve. For example, fun but professional, telling it what to avoid. So you might say something, think about it like this. Give this as an additional model creation for Mission Impossible. Your task, should you accept it, is to write a tagline as if Sherlock Holmes worked in marketing. So the idea is to enjoy this. The final piece I want to talk about is fact-checking AI. You have to fact-check AI. And you need a good checklist to do that. And there's, as usual, an acronym for that, the verify method. V is to validate the source. So does the source the AI cited actually exist? So you've got to check that. Maybe you Google it, the exact resource name, the author, or the publication date. The second one is to examine the numbers. Do the statistics and data points seem plausible? So you do that by cross-referencing with a couple of reliable sources, government sites.edu, established news. So if you're making code, then you run the code. Does the AI-generated code actually work? Copy it, run it, test it against tricky what-ifs. Never assume code is correct. This is very important. A number of lawyers have gotten into trouble by citing AI briefs, which turned out to be complete fiction, made up. So inspect for logic. Does the reasoning make sense step by step? Read slowly. Ask, does each sentence logically follow the one before? The F in verify is find a second opinion. Ask a different AI or source the same question. If two independent sources agree, confidence goes up. If they disagree, you need to dig deeper. And Y in verify is yield to uncertainty. If you can't verify it, don't use it. It's better to say something like, we couldn't confirm this, than to present made up data as fact. So just thinking about this, I'm going to wrap it up. AI is like a genie. It grants you a wish, but it's up to you to make the wish crystal clear. Otherwise, you might end up with a giraffe in your home when you wanted a tall plant. So your goal is to make a partner out of the AI. You don't just get answers, you get partners in creativity, problem solving, and efficiency. So to wrap it up, we spoke about the ethical use of AI, how to do it properly at world-class levels. We spoke about crafting effective prompts. And then we spoke about verifying the output. So now, ladies and gentlemen, put it all together and go and have fun with the CZITT Hackathon. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phillips. What an enlightening session. I learned a lot. I made a lot of notes myself during the time. For the rest of this this session, where we have maybe another 5 minutes, I thought maybe we could ask you a few questions and prompt you.
You can try. Yes.
What do you see as the downside of using AI for, particularly for students and the applications we are talking about?
My biggest concern is that, and Donald, you were a student once upon a time.
And
is
remain, yes.
yes, the idea that you don't need to actually learn anything, that AI will do it for you. That's dangerous. And I think the most important thing is, as students, is to learn and grasp the fundamental principles of whatever the subject is, so that when you're using the AI, you are in some ways a subject matter expert yourself, and you can verify in your own mind that the AI is not talking nonsense. When you look at something, you have to say, no, this doesn't make sense. And because I know. So I would say that's the biggest danger is students using it as a shortcut rather than as a collaborative tool to help them understand. I mean, you can use AI, for example, as a student to create a learning to help you learn your subject better. It's something that as students might want to think about. How do I use AI to help me learn my subject better, whether it's algebra or biology or oceanography, whatever you're learning, you can use AI as a tool to help you with that learning.
But as a student, my pressure is on passing exams and completing my school-based assessments. What if I use the AI to help me through that and later on I go and learn the subject matter? Can I not get away with that?
You might, but you might also trip and fall on the way. And then you'd be found out. It's one of the things. If you use AI, we talked about it earlier, say that you use the AI. You know, some students, because of the pressure rush, I know someone who found a student had prepared an essay using AI because the student hadn't edited the response carefully. And right at the very top, the AI announced itself and what it was doing. And so the professor saw the response and was able to call the students and counsel them that, that's not how we do it. If you use it, but say that you used it.
I have another angle I wanted to ask you about. So after I write the best prompt that I could write, should I completely be confident in the result that it gives me?
No. And the reason I say no is that obviously it depends on what the prompt, what the subject is, obviously. If you know a lot about the subject, you can review it and come to a conclusion. But it's always better to test it. I mean, I cited an earlier example. There's been a couple of cases in the United States where lawyers used AI to prepare a brief. They submitted the brief to court. The court checked and found that some of the citations were nonsense. And those lawyers ended up being fined rather significant amounts of money for wasting the court's time. So even when you have that profession, lawyers who are supposed to be the details people, making that kind of error in something that they prepared and that they should have, I should say, confidence in the output, they did not verify.
So we still need to look into the result and verify it, maybe check
Yes,
other sources, go into the references that are cited and see that they are real,
yes,
and add value to that result that we got out of the AI.
right.
Yeah.
That's very important, Donald. I think one of the things is that this is a very powerful tool, but if you don't use it in a very structured and thoughtful way, you'll get nonsense.
Very good. And that's a good point to leave it. We want to avoid nonsense and we want to produce great results that help us to solve problems and further our career prospects. I'm very happy to thank, on behalf of all the persons looking on and who will look on at the videos on CZITT's YouTube channel. I thank Mr. Alan Phillips for guiding us through some very interesting waters and pointing us in a direction that can help us in this hackathon and thereafter. Thank you very much, and signing off from CZITT.